Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the Living and Learning Communities webinar from the University of Denver. We're really happy you could make it tonight so you can learn a bit more about these awesome programs we have here on our campus. So to get started, I have myself and my two other colleagues here. There they are, Molly and Alex. The first part will be a PowerPoint where we'll address kind of what the LLCs are, some frequently asked questions, and so you can just learn a bit more about the programs. We have three awesome students here to talk about their experience. One student who is a current first year student, and two others who are juniors, so looking back on their first year to talk about how their living and learning community experience impacted them. My name is Brianna Johnson. I am the program manager for the Living and Learning Communities. That means I help with recruitment here to get you all to come here and apply for our programs. And it also means that I help coordinate the environmental sustainability living and learning community. And I'll pass it off to Alex now.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the program coordinator for the International and Innovation and Entrepreneurship Living and Learning Communities.
Hi everyone, I'm Molly and I am the program coordinator for the Wellness and the Social Justice Living and Learning Communities.
So what is in the living and learning community? Probably one of the biggest questions we get is how many years does a living and learning community last? It's only for your first year at the University of Denver. The cool thing about an LLC, how we call it lovingly, is it integrates academics, your residential experience, and other experiences out in the community. So you'll apply. When you get to campus, you'll live on the same floor with a group of students who are all passionate about the same topic. You'll take one class together each quarter of your freshman year. And then you'll do other activities. We call them co-curricular activities and service opportunities that all have to do with that theme that you're a part of. A great part about the living and learning communities is it helps you build a close-knit community. It's an opportunity for you to engage both on campus with all kinds of student organizations and off campus with community partners.
There are 5 LLCs. As you can see, we've got Environmental Sustainability, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, International, Social Justice, and Wellness. Next year, all of our communities will be housed in Centennial Halls and JMAC. We will not be in the new residence hall.
So what components make up an LLC? Obviously, we have the living component. So as Brianna mentioned, you'll be living on a designated floor in either JMAC or halls with the rest of your LLC cohort. The learning component is the 2-credit course that you'll take each quarter with your faculty director and the rest of your LLC. So that means you meet once a week for 2 hours for the entire year of your first year. And these classes also feed into an optional minor, which we will get into a little bit later in the FAQ section. And the learning component also comprises community engagement and service learning opportunities. So that might mean volunteering with an organization in Denver or doing experiential learning as well. The community component, also obviously you're living on the floor with your hall, so there's so many opportunities for community building in the dorms. And we also have co-curricular programming designed around your specific theme. So some examples of this co-curricular programming are our overnight community building retreats, which generally happen twice a year, guest speakers, family dinners, field trips, cultural events like film showings, plays, museum visits, things like that. And also relax nights, which is a really fun thing that we host every quarter. We bring in massage therapists. We do really grounding, stress relieving activities. We order pizza. It's a really, really good time, and we do that every quarter. So those are just some examples of the community building co-curricular programming that we have.
And if relax night didn't make you want to apply right away, some other benefits of participating in a living and learning community, definitely the top one that comes mostly from our students is that students build lifelong friendships. I can actually speak personally to this. As a student, I was in the International Living and Learning community, and the people that I met from that program are still my closest friends, now 6 years out of my experience at DU. You'll have a great built-in community of support. So the living and learning communities have a dedicated faculty director and a program coordinator. You'll see them weekly to make sure that everything's going okay. So it's a little bit more than just engaging with that theme, but also ensuring that academically you're feeling good, making sure you're getting along with your roommate, and then all the other stuff that comes up during your first year at DU. You have those people really looking out for you. The LLC also comes with various networking opportunities. We often visit different businesses and organizations, and with that, you meet all kinds of different people. Often we have students who have come out of the living and learning communities with internships or long-term volunteer relationships. Some other opportunities are activities that Molly had mentioned, the great activities that we get to have when you go out into Denver and even out into the greater Colorado, getting to do that with a group of people who you've really gotten to know and build a relationship with. If you've had an opportunity to check out our YouTube video that we posted recently, it's on our website if you haven't taken a look at that also. The off-campus retreats are probably one of the most memorable experiences for students by far. Whether they're at the foothills in Boulder or up in the mountains, students really seem to love that time to get off campus and bond at an overnight retreat. And finally, we have a lot of food. We really think and we believe in this program that food is what brings people together and builds community. So food is absolutely a part of this process and this experience.
All right. So, other than what kinds of food, I'm sure you have some questions. So, we have some frequently asked questions that we'll go over now.
Do I have to pay extra to be in the living and learning communities? And the answer is no. This program is completely free and really adds so much value to your college experience.
Do I have to have a certain major to apply for an LLC? No. And in fact, we really love the fact that all of our students come from so many different majors. It brings different perspectives to the floor and different perspectives to the topic of interest.
Can I apply to multiple LLCs? Yes, we encourage that you apply to as many LLCs that are of interest to you, just so you have a higher likelihood of acceptance. And in a few questions, we'll go over kind of what that application process looks like, but absolutely please apply to one or all of the LLCs as long as the topic area is really interesting to you.
Can I be in the Pioneer Leadership Program and an LLC? So, unfortunately, no, since both programs require that you live with the other people in your group, you couldn't be in both. But we definitely encourage you to apply if you're interested in both programs. That way, you expand your options.
Can I be in the honors program and an LLC? Yes. So the honors program has an optional community living space. So if you are in an LLC and honors, we just ask that you live on the floor with your LLC cohort.
Can I be in Equity in STEM, eSTEM, and an LLC? So we really would advise that you choose one community and focus on that. Both groups require outside participation. We've kind of given you an overview with the LLC, but eSTEM has some similarities. So it would pull your attention and require a lot of juggling. So we would really emphasize choosing one. But you can apply to both and then choose.
What is the time commitment to participate in an LLC? So as we said, every LLC requires you to enroll in a 2-credit-hour class each quarter. So that means meeting once a week for 2 hours. Again, this is an academic class, so you're getting credit for it. And this also includes your participation in year-long service opportunities and co-curricular events. So that means some of the things we mentioned, like the retreats, the speakers, the field trips that we have. There will be a co-curricular event requirement, so you will have to attend a certain number each quarter, but it's very, very manageable. We try to make it as fun as possible. Like, we say requirement, but most students don't see it that way at all. They're just fun, really engaging things that you're doing with your friends. So it's definitely, definitely manageable. And obviously, you will also enjoy the spontaneous friendships and activities that emerge on the floor. So many, many opportunities for community building and just having a really great first year experience.
Do my LLC credits apply to majors or minors? So you can apply your LLC credits to a minor. We have 4 minors that correspond to the 5 different living communities. There's sustainability, intercultural global studies, entrepreneur, and wellness. So you could definitely apply those to those minors. However, you can also count your credits towards your electives that you need to graduate.
Do the LLCs go beyond the first year? So no, after your first year, you are invited to become a mentor for the incoming LLC class, but this is completely optional, and there are no further requirements after your first year. So it's a first year program only. What does the application process look like? So for each LLC you apply to, there will be 1 community essay and 2 LLC specific essays. Okay, let's say you apply to 2 LLCs. The community essay you write will be for any LLC you apply to. So that essay counts across the board. So you only have to write 1 community essay. And then every LLC you apply for, there will be 2 questions for that LLC. So hopefully that makes sense and we can clarify anything. But essentially, there will be 3 short essays in the application. What we're really looking for is just well-written, reflective, and honest answers. So be yourself, write from the heart. Just let us see how you are. We're really excited to read your applications.
And that brings us to applying. So we would highly encourage you to apply as soon as possible. The priority deadline is Tuesday the 18th, which is coming up. And senioritis is real, and you're probably not going to feel like applying in April. So if you're interested, we would definitely encourage you to shoot for this upcoming Tuesday. Otherwise, the regular deadline is there as well. And there's our website, and we hope to read your applications soon.
Everybody, thank you for being here. We still have a little bit more to go, but I wanted to give you this opportunity to write down or take a picture of this Contact Us page. You can always email your questions to llcs@du.edu, or feel free to give us a phone call. We check that voicemail frequently, so we're happy to call you back. Please do leave your callback number, though. I've found that oftentimes in the age of cell phones, you think we would get the phone number that comes with a missed call, but we actually don't on our office phone. So please do leave your callback number as well. I'd love to introduce Grant, who is a current undergraduate student, first year, and he'll tell you a little bit more about his experience. And then we'll have Charlotte and Matthew come on, who are juniors, and will tell you about theirs.
Hey, I'm Grant. I'm a freshman here at DU, like Brianna said, and I'm in the environmental sustainability living and learning community. So I just want to talk about my experience a little bit. Obviously, I haven't lived here the whole year, but I've already had such a great time. I think the LLCs are such a great decision, especially it doesn't cost any extra. And I personally just think of it as an enhanced experience living here at DU as a freshman. So some of the specifics that were touched upon in the PowerPoint that I would like to also bring up. The biggest thing, you get to meet so many new people. It is a great way to get new friends quickly. Emphasis on the quickly, because during orientation, things are very intense. There's a lot going on. There's so many new people. But if you're in an LLC, you all live in one hallway and you're all together. And then you do a lot of things together throughout a week and throughout the whole year. So you get to know each other really quickly, and it's really nice to just go ahead and have that group. Even if like you aren't best friends with everyone, it's good to have these people. You know, if you want to go out, eat lunch, do anything. Other thing, resources. There are so many great resources you get with being in an LLC. You have a program coordinator, and then you have a professor that teaches the class, and then all of your mentors who are the sophomores. I've had so many questions about different college specific things this quarter and last quarter. And I go immediately to My LLC, either my mentors or Brianna, my coordinator, or Don, my professor, like they have really valuable information and contact information for other people that could help. And that's just not something you get when you're not in an LLC. It will be a little harder to find these resources. Another thing, you do a lot of fun stuff and you get to just go out and experience Denver and Colorado a lot more than like you would just as a regular student. As was touched upon in the PowerPoints, we have retreats, which are really, really awesome. First quarter for the ESLLC specifically, we went to the mountains. We stayed up in Mount Evans. We did that again this quarter, but it was snowed out. So we cross country skied up there and snowshoed. And then next quarter, we're going whitewater rafting and camping. So the retreats are a lot of fun. And you do get a lot of food from those trips that you get to bring home, which is very, very nice. We have a lot of stuff like study halls where you just get to go to places and do work. A lot of outside events like going on in Denver, just going downtown, and a lot of resources, contact information on these trips. You get to meet a lot of new people, learn some interesting stuff, and also learning. It's not just a community. You're also taking a class. Obviously, you join whichever community is of an interest to you, and you get to learn about that interest. For me, sustainability, I was never back home, I didn't know the most about sustainability. I joined because I love the environment. I love being out in nature, and being in it, I've learned so much about sustainable practices in the world. And it's really, really awesome. And also, because you're living in a community of all of these people that have this shared interest, you get to learn a lot from them, and that is a very valuable thing to learn from each other and to take this class. And yeah, I would just say overall it's a great decision, and it's an enhanced freshman experience at no extra cost. More food, more experiences, more friends. I think it's a great idea.
Awesome. Thanks, Grant. Oh, hey, Charlotte and Matthew, good to see you. We'll hand it over to you. Thanks.
So I'm Charlotte. I am a third year student, and I'm currently studying international studies and environmental science with minors in chem and bio. And right now I work in the admissions office, and I'm in, a few clubs and intramural sports and things like that. So that's me.
I'm Matthew. I'm a third year student here from Kansas City, Missouri. I study Spanish and geography, and I was in the Wellness LLC with Charlotte freshman year. And on campus, I volunteer with an organization we have called DUSK, which is DU Service and Change, which is kind of like a volunteer group here on campus.
Yeah, so I would say that when I think back to our experience, Matthew and I were in the Wellness LLC together and became pretty good friends right off the bat, and still hang out almost all the time, almost every day till this day. But I think the things that really stick out in my mind when I think back to our LLC experience primarily is the connection that you make, because I think when you come in and make that transition to, a new environment, you're in college, it's hard to feel connected. You just, finish your fourth year, most likely in high school, where you knew pretty much everybody, or you have connections in your town or your family or whatever, and you come to a new environment and it can be kind of daunting. And so having that foundation of an environment where you immediately feel welcomed and you have those connections that within weeks feel like family, I think it's just invaluable to your first year experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, freshman year, I think I knew one or two people coming here to DU, but then the Wellness LLC just kind of became my family. It's a completely different environment, but everyone was so welcoming, and everyone was kind of in the same boat, so we kind of just got through it together. We lived in halls, so we had a lounge space on our floor, and everyone's door was always open if you just wanted to talk or hang out or, whatever, go get food. And then the mentors were mentioned earlier, they have a great LLC office here, which is nice and cozy with all the, mentors here. If you ever have any questions, just want to talk about anything in general, you can always stop on by. It's just really a great environment.
Yeah, I think that was the resource factor is really important too. I remember from my freshman year, I was coming in with questions and whatever, and thinking about specifically what comes to mind is study abroad. I knew that I wanted to study abroad and I had a lot of questions about it. And I actually came in and talked to Brianna quite a bit about it. And she told me about her experience and whatever. And I ended up going on the exact same program that she did, which was kind of coincidental, but I wouldn't have really had a good understanding of that program had it not been for, her sharing her experience. So they, continue to shape our lives, and it's really valuable the impact that they have on us. And I think another thing too is, I mean, it depends on what you study, but I think no matter what you're studying, what LLC you choose, the things that you're learning in the classroom will continuously be incorporated into your life. So for me, I think back a lot, especially in like relationships and friendships and things like that, to the things that I learned in wellness about, being vulnerable and um, about a growth mindset and things like that, and overcoming challenges. I think back to the stuff that we learned in the classroom quite a bit, in my own personal life and in the classroom. So the stuff that you learn doesn't necessarily have to correlate to what you're studying in any way, but I think it definitely will continue to incorporate itself into your life and into your studies as you go on. So that's been very kind of useful for me.
Yeah, definitely. And then just one last thing I want to touch on. It is just a lot of fun in general. You have way more opportunities that DU students who aren't in an LLC might have. So like we had some really great retreats. We went up to the mountains a couple of weekends, went to the hot springs, and then just had some great events around Denver. I know we went ice skating. We volunteered at a community garden. So yeah, we just had a lot of fun, just kind of doing all these events together. And there's plenty of options of events. Like it's pretty varied, which is really nice. So it was just a great way to get to know the people, the city, and it was just a great decision in general.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
I mean, coming out of the LLC, I think I was just sad that like I wouldn't be like living in that little community anymore, because having so many, like, just kind of having your family all in one place is really nice. But I think I was kind of excited to, see how the friendships would grow and see how our lives would continue, because I mean, obviously, like, we still hang out all the time and we still have these strong relationships. But I do miss a lot of aspects of it.
Yeah, it's definitely sad leaving halls with your whole floor kind of going on their own way. But a lot of those friendships I still have to this day. I live with someone who lived on the floor freshman year, and last year when I was in the dorms again, I lived with someone who was on the LLC floor. So you just find ways to maintain that relationship and those bonds. But yeah, it's definitely sad leaving everyone in that kind of community space. But there are ways to get around that and continue those friendships.
Yeah, the community definitely does not like end. It's
Yeah.
still a big part of our lives. I still see Brianna pretty frequently. I come to her yoga classes on Wednesdays. And yeah, like Matthew said, last year I lived with someone from the LLC. Next year I'll be living with someone from the LLC. So yeah, that community is there.
Interest and passion is like 99% of the battle. If you're interested in a topic and want to know more and want to participate in events and are excited to learn more about it, that's great. Even if you haven't had much experience with that topic before, if you want to jump right in, that's exactly what we're looking for, is that engagement and excitement. With the innovation and entrepreneurship living and learning community specifically, I will say there is more of a focus on the entrepreneurial side, pardon me, than maybe it's not just like art exactly. So there is that focus on business, but it's looking at like innovation and how to be innovative in different businesses and what does innovation mean within different contexts, and applying that to different regions. So there is a little bit more of like the business side. You don't necessarily have to have had business experience. Anything can be innovative. It's just how you look at it.
We host various events such as Relax Night, where our events are open to all LLC students. So most of the events that you'll have in your LLC are just with your particular theme group. But for example, for Relax Night, we invite all 130 students to come be in our office and relax before finals hit. We offer other events that happen on campus that are open to all students that we go to as a group. So I hope that makes sense. So we don't usually, if our office is planning an event, it's usually just for our students. But I think, for example, Alex took her international LLC, or will be taking the international LLC to Culture Fest, which is a great event that the internationalization office puts on, that her students will attend all together.
Housing does a really great job of matching students based on their lifestyle and personality and kind of the sense that they get from reading your housing application. You can pretty much count on your roommate being a part of whatever LLC that you are also a part of, so you have that shared thing. There are a few circumstances, for example, in halls, there are often a few more spaces on the floor than we have spots for the program. So sometimes there are a couple of students in halls that are not in the LLC, but we almost like adopt them in and they become unofficial parts of the LLC. But more likely than not, you will have a roommate that's also in the LLC. And it is kind of like random, I guess you would say, based on what housing thinks is the best fit. I also think that if you meet another student in the LLC before housing decisions go out that you really click with, you can email your program coordinator and we can pass that information on to housing. But I think in general, it's just random. Like, we rarely have students picking their roommate, and it usually works out and is a great experience. So yeah.
We do have plenty of LLCers who also participate in Greek life. I will say that then you're definitely committing to 2 big time commitments. So Greek life is a very large time commitment, and the living and learning communities, especially with the extra added course, are as well. So if you're thinking about Greek life, it's something to consider. And we're sort of trying to promote the idea of, you know, really putting your eggs in one basket and heavily investing in one community. Not that you can't do other things, of course you can, but getting the opportunity to really get to know a solid group of people. And maybe that's an LLC, maybe that's Greek life, maybe you choose, you can do both, and that works too. So we have about 130 spots total for the living and learning communities, and each program has between 22 and 30 spots in each program. I would say that your likelihood of getting in is pretty high. One thing to consider is we do ask students to apply to the living and learning communities before they even choose to come to DU. So many of our students who apply don't actually come, and that's totally fine. But when you think about how many applications we get and then how many students end up in our programs, the rate is actually pretty good for getting into the living and learning communities.
The sooner you apply, the sooner you know, so you have that peace of mind, and you'll know before you have to make, if you're considering other schools, for example, you'll know whether or not you're admitted into an LLC before you have to make the decision, is DU the right fit for me? And your acceptance into an LLC might sway your decision one way or the other. So that's one advantage. And as Alex mentioned, senioritis hits like hardcore. If it hasn't already hit, it'll hit you momentarily. Like, it's very real. So why not just get it over with now when you're still in the school mode, and get those essays busted out, so you don't have to worry about it later in the spring when all you want to do is have fun with your friends and not think about school. Our application is not super time intensive. So if you set aside an hour this weekend to get it done, that will be plenty of time to write thoughtful essays. So keep that in mind as well. We try to make it as stress-free a process as possible. So, and again, you can always email us or call us if you have any questions about the application between now and then.
PLP, the Pioneer Leadership Program, it's kind of similar where you're all living together, but it's more than 1 year. It's 4 years. So it is just a different kind of program for that reason, and the LLCs are just your first year commitment. With Pioneer Leadership Program, you also have that leadership component that's a little bit different than what we do. Obviously, within each of our groups, leadership comes in naturally, but that is a focus for PLP instead of like the specific topics that we have.
For PLP, you earn the leadership minor, and that is required. For our living and learning communities, the credits from your LLC go toward a minor if that's how you choose to use those credits, and it's optional. So for example, students in the environmental sustainability community could apply those credits to a sustainability minor if they wanted to, or just use those credits as elective credits, which is required to graduate.
You can definitely participate in other activities. As we discussed, the LLC is definitely a commitment, but it's so easy to do other things. It's not like a full 100% like you do nothing but the LLC. It's very flexible and you can do tons of other stuff.
My freshman year got involved with club sports. I was in the club kayaking team for a while. I work as a tour guide. I know a lead guide in the admissions office, so I have a job. And I also got involved with DU EMS, which is like an emergency medical response unit that's totally student run, and have put in a lot of time there. And we essentially like launched a new unit, and now it's like a full-time job, and I'm on the executive board, and I've been very involved since freshman year. I was doing pretty much all these things while I was in the LLC, and I found that, I mean, you do have to learn how to balance your time, definitely, but it's very much possible to be involved in a number of things. And I found that the LLC really served as kind of like home base for me. And so coming back to the group and hearing about everybody else's experiences and the things that they're all involved in, it was just kind of like motivating, you know. I had a group of students who were motivating me to like just follow my passions and then do what I liked to do, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think the LLC is definitely a commitment. And if you join one, that should definitely be a big priority for you. But a lot of the people in the LLCs also want to see you branch out and see you be successful in other things. I know students who were in Greek life, who were on the dance team, who had jobs, who did all these other sorts of things. A lot of the LLCs also have intramural teams, which is a lot of fun, just as a side note there. But the LLCs kind of provide certain community aspects that those other organizations might not be able to. So I like that statement about the LLCs kind of being home base. They're a good environment, and they definitely want to see you excel in other areas, but they want to see you care about the LLCs as well and get back to those as well.
Don't do what I did. I applied late the night before the deadline, and my essays were not good, and I'm pretty sure I only applied to the environmental. I might have applied to international as well, but I'm pretty sure I just did environmental. But even then, it was a smooth process and it went well. But I would commend all of you watching for, getting ahead of the curve and already being, interested in watching, because I just put it off until the very end. But I'm really glad I ended up doing it. So yeah, I would say just look at all the different ones, find out as much as you can about the specifics, and just really apply to multiple and just think about what your interests are. And if you get accepted to multiple, just think about, which one you think would be the best for you.
I will just come in here and say that on our website, we have a BuzzFeed quiz. If you want to take that to find out which one is probably your best one. It's fun and a little silly, but it might help give you a little bit of direction.
Well, I have to echo Grant's statement first that I definitely commend everybody that's on this Zoom right now, because I filled out my application on an airplane and I didn't really have much information about it. So the fact that everyone is getting involved and asking questions is really awesome. I kind of felt like just reading the description, wellness resonated the most with me. And it was also the one that I felt like I knew the least about. I felt like it was something that I couldn't really learn in a classroom setting outside of this program, because a lot of the stuff we focus on is just like super holistic and, internal and introspective and things that like were, I think, definitely valuable to me and something that I just wanted to learn more about. And I was also looking at the environmental science LLC and the social justice LLCs. And I think wellness just resonated the most with me. I thought that there was the most kind of opportunity for growth and learning for me personally in the wellness LLC. So that's why I chose it.
Yeah. I would definitely say apply to all the ones that you think sound interesting. That way, if you get accepted to different ones, you can choose and you can kind of have that decision to make later on. But for me, I think I just kind of took stock of what was important to me. So I kind of did some reflection and decided who am I and who do I want to be surrounded by and what kind of people and who do I want to become. And I thought wellness was just kind of the most valuable, the most lifelong lessons that I would be able to learn in an LLC. So I just kind of took that and ran with it. So definitely just take stock of who you are, who you want to be surrounded by, and kind of your goals for your college experience. And I think that would help a lot.
Awesome. That is such a good note to end on. So thank you everybody for attending our webinar. I want to emphasize our next deadline is February 18th, this coming Tuesday. Yay, we can't wait to read your applications. We hope you apply and feel free to get in touch with us if you have questions. Take care, everybody. Bye.